Hey there. So, sorry for the huge delay between my last videos. I went into my 38-week checkup and wound up having the babies the same day, so it was very busy. It's been very busy the last few weeks here. I actually filmed my 38-week video on my way home at the store and then didn't end up posting it because everything changed. But anyway, so I went in for my 38-week checkup and things were fine. Like, I've been still having contractions off and on, mostly in the evenings or overnight. I was going to have her strip my membranes because they were inducing me that Friday. And I was like, well, whatever speeds that process along. But a couple days before that, my face had gotten like super swollen. And I was having this weird like peripheral vision issue where like I couldn't see out of my peripheral vision great on my left side. So I mentioned it to them and they checked my urine, which was negative for protein. My blood pressure was fine. So she called maternal fetal medicine and she was like, I think we're good. They kind of chatted back and forth and decided to just wait until Friday, which was when I was being induced. It was 2 days later. And they were like, I think you'll be fine to wait. And so I left, went to the grocery store, bought like $250 worth of groceries, most of them perishable because why not? And while I'm checking out, the doctor's office called and asked the gal checking me out, I was like, do you mind if I take this? It's my doctor's office. And she was like, hey, we talked about it some more. We just want you to come in right away. And let's just have these babies right now. The hospital's waiting for you. Get there as soon as you can. I'm like, oh. So I left there. The lady that was ringing up my groceries was like, oh my God, congratulations, you're having your babies right now. And I'm like, I'm not ready. Thought I had 2 more days. So my brother and sister-in-law came and they helped me get my groceries home because I lived like an hour away from the hospital. So I was like, well, they want me there now. If I take the groceries home and come back, it's going to be like 3 hours. Luckily, I had everything I needed in the car because I was just trying to be prepared constantly, no matter what. So that was good. My husband met me there. We showed up at the hospital at like 11:30ish, almost noon, and I had to have neurology come see me to make sure I wasn't going to like stroke out during the induction. So they came down and internal medicine came down and they were like, yeah, I think you're fine. And then anesthesia came down because they wanted me to have the epidural. And the anesthesia was like, I think we'll be okay, but blah, blah, blah with your symptoms. There's a slightly higher risk, yada, yada, yada. So I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to follow instructions and do what I need to do. So they, at about 1:30, they started my Pitocin, which I'd never had Pitocin before, so that was a whole new experience for me. It wasn't bad, actually, and I had already been contracting like every 5 to 7 minutes, so it just sort of kind of progressed things along. I was already dilated to a 4 at this point, and they gave me a bag of IV fluids, and then the anesthesiologist came in and he started my epidural, and that was not bad either, actually. I had done no medication for my last 2 deliveries, so I was really not excited for the epidural, but it turned out just fine. Like, it wasn't super painful. I felt like a little pinch when he did the lidocaine, and then I could feel the pressure when he put the stuff in, but it wasn't painful at all. And at this point, I was still I was having active contractions, but they weren't super bad. So I was not uncomfortable at all. So it was a pretty casual labor at that point. So now we're looking at like, by the time that all happened, they got the bag of Pitocin going, blah, blah, blah. I mean, it was probably 3:30 before they really got the epidural going. The midwife that I'd started with was on call, and so she actually came in and was like, hey, do you mind if I break your water? We want to put the cephalic monitor. They put the monitor on baby A's head. And so the doctor had gotten called into a C-section. So the midwife came in and did that for me. And that was really cool because I loved her. She was such an awesome lady. And I had to transfer from her when it was twins. So it was kind of cool that she was there. So she came in, did that, broke my water. And then the contractions really picked up, but I really only felt them like in my hip on one side. It wasn't bad. And I was like, okay, well, this is way different than a unmedicated delivery, but it wasn't terrible. And so the nurse came in and was like, let's try rolling you onto the other side because then maybe that'll help the epidural sort of take better, because I told her, I just feel it in the one spot. It's not bad. I don't mind it. But she was like, we'll try. As soon as she rolled me, I was like, oh, now I feel everything. It was still not, it was like constant, like the contractions were on top of each other, probably the Pitocin, but it wasn't bad. Like I was like still tolerating it, but I was like, oh, I definitely feel more now. I was like, let's just roll back to the other side. And then the doctor came in right then, and she's like, well, I'm just going to check you to see where you're at. And I was like, okay. So she checked me, and she was like, don't sneeze, don't laugh, nothing. These babies are right there. You're dilated to a 10. Let's just get you into the OR. And this was at 4:27, so like maybe a little over an hour and a half of actual contractions at this point. So it was really fast for me. And I was like, whoa, okay. So they wheeled the bed from the delivery room into the OR, and there was like half a dozen people in there or more, actually probably over a dozen. And then they had to move me onto the OR bed, which is like super narrow. And I was like, that's comfy. And they put your feet in the stirrups, the whole like 9 yards. But at that point I was just kind of like, okay, whatever we got to do, let's do it. And I wasn't even worried. And my midwife, who normally they don't let the midwives in for twin deliveries, it's usually just 2 doctors, she had asked if she could come in, and I was like, please let her in. That'd be so cool to me. So they were like, great, yeah. So she came in. I love her. And my regular doctor showed up. She got paged over, so she came running out of clinic and came over. And so I started pushing and pushed for maybe 4 minutes, and the first baby was born. And he was 6 pounds 9 ounces, so he's born at 4:41, and he was 19 inches long. Super cute little dude. And then they even did like the whole 1 minute delayed cord clamping. I got to do some skin to skin. And then baby B, they moved him over to have him checked out by NICU, and he was fine. He was good to go, so my hubby grabbed him. And then my baby B was born exactly 10 minutes later, 5:51. I probably pushed like 3 contractions maybe before he came out. Both of them were head down. Super easy delivery. They were little. He was 6 pounds 1 ounce, 19 inches long. And he was so little and cute. And I got to do the delayed cord clamping with him too. And then they did the skin to skin. And then they actually didn't even take him over to inspect him yet. They let us go back to our labor room to recover. So we were there for a couple hours so I could get full feeling back in my legs. And they checked him out in there, and he was fine. So then we just got to hang out and snuggle for a couple hours, which was really cool. I was having a lot of extra like cramping and clotting issues. So they gave me 3 Cervidil and another shot of something and another bag of Pitocin after, so that it would clamp down faster. So that worked. And so then it was all just normal after that. I did ask them to give me Toradol for the whole 24 hours that I was in the hospital, so because I really hate postpartum cramping. Like, I don't mind the cramps for the like actual labor. I'm like, these are intentional and they're purposeful, and I'm gonna get a baby out of it. But then the postpartum ones, I'm like, I hate these. So I wouldn't say they were double bad though. They were definitely worse than most of my other pregnancies, but my worst one was definitely when I had the baby that was sunny side up. Those postpartum cramps were spades worse than even this one. So, and the recovery was super easy. I didn't need any stitches. There was no tearing. It was really not that bad. The hospital stay was fine. The babies are little troopers. The littler one, baby B, was jaundiced, so we had to go back a bunch to do his bilirubin levels. Like, we had to go back every day for like 4 days. But he never ended up needing treated for it. He's still tiny though. We just did their 2-week checkup, and baby A is already up 6 ounces more than his birth weight. Baby B is just barely past his birth weight, so he's still pretty little and tiny, but they're really good. They're great. And my third baby was such a little rascal. She still is, that I keep thinking, she really prepped me for this. Like, 2 of them is still not equal to 1 of her yet, so I always hear like how hard it is with twins, and how you're just completely in this whirlwind and you don't have any free time. But honestly, they've been really great babies, and I've been very blessed. They're really fun and adorable, and my other kids are really helpful, so it's been good. And again, I'm sorry that it was such a delay on getting this up there. I will try to do another update with stuff when I have free time. It's hard to give it free time. That's 5 children. I will say my sister had sent me it's Belly Bandit, the Mother Tucker leggings. Amazing. So great. Super comfy. Helped with back pain. Awesome. So highly recommend those. And mother's milk tea has been great because I've been able to breastfeed without having to supplement so far, which is awesome. And making tons and tons of lactation cookies and snacks has been really helpful. And then just trying to remember to drink water still. It's really hard to get in my fluids now that they're born. It's like, and peeing. I never have time to pee, but that's okay too. I'm working on it. So, there you go. Other mommies out there, good luck. It's really exciting. And I hope you have a wonderful final experience. Like, it was so much better than I was expecting. And it's been way better now than I thought it was going to be too. So, anyways, hope you guys are having a wonderful pregnancy. God bless.